Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Kim. Welcome to my home in St. Simons Island. Thanks so much for coming by. Come on in. I'll show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Kim Scodro. I'm an interior designer and we are based out of Chicago, Illinois. Currently, we are in St. Simons Island in Georgia. It's this beautiful jewel of an island that is situated between Jacksonville and Savannah. And I say those two cities because you can fly into either one, and St. Simons Island is right in the middle. And it is this just oasis of beautiful land, and where we happen to live, it's very much like forest. There's a lot of trees and greenery, and it's just beautiful. We're a few minutes from the beach and the ocean, so we absolutely love it here. We have always had a winter home in Arizona for 18 plus years. And we decided that we wanted something a little bit closer to Chicago, something that had a little bit of greenery, something that was just a little different. And I don't do change. Change is not something that I embrace. But my husband and I decided we'll come take a look down here at St. Simons Island. We've been to Sea Island many times for family vacations or visiting the golf courses there. And we came here and we walked into this house, and it was the first house that we saw, and game over. It was done. I fell in love with it. I fell in love. And I think it's because the beautiful lake view, the way the house is situated, the house was built so incredibly well, very solid. And so for me, looking at it from an interior design perspective, I could just run with it. Hi, welcome to my living room here in St. Simons Island. We're in an area called Frederica. It's a beautiful wooded area, and there's a lovely golf club here that my family, and particularly my husband, enjoys. But this is the main space. This is where we watch TV. This is where, when the grandkids are here, they hang out. And it's a big space, and it's the reason that we fell in love with the house. When we walked in and we looked outside and we saw the view, it did it for us. The space is big. It has enough seating area for everyone, but it also, there's not a lot of wall space. So we had to create interest in other ways. So you'll notice I'm a huge fan of coffee table books. That's a really good design tip too. What do you put on a coffee table? Coffee table books, they're beautiful. Collect them, things that you like. Mine happen to be mostly about interior design, but the colors, everything about them, they just had interest. And it also gives you varying heights. It's hard to pick one coffee table book that I like. I feel like every time I buy a coffee table book, that is my new favorite coffee table book. But one of my most recent favorite coffee table books is the Gracie wall covering book that was just done. I think it came out this fall. It just one page after, I'm a huge fan of Gracie wall covering, and one page after another. It's just more beautiful, more beautiful, more beautiful. And so I'm a huge fan of that. We like to give that out as a gift to clients and friends because it's beautiful, beautiful. This is something that's fun. I love this. So because St. Simons Island is new to our family, the beach is obviously very important. And for when my grandkids came for the very first time, I gave them the task of collecting as many seashells as they possibly could. And they hit the jackpot. So we took all of them, we cleaned them, and what a beautiful centerpiece. I look at it all the time, and I can think about them picking them up, and then still to this day, when we find new ones that are interesting, we bring them and put them inside of there. I'm still trying to think of something clever to do with them. maybe make a mirror or something. You'll notice, I'll show you upstairs when we get to one of the bedrooms, my granddaughter did make a lovely vase with seashells. This is an amazing artist. He is from High Point, North Carolina, and he created these two pieces based on some colors that I gave him. I told him, you be you, and this is what he came up with, and I think they're great anchors for this space. When we bought the house, there weren't any built-ins here. I think there were just pieces of furniture, so we added the built-ins, added this art, which is sort of a juxtaposition between some of the antiques in this space, but I think it works. So this sectional, which was voted on by the entire family. We needed a sectional. Our last home did not have a comfortable sofa to watch TV, so we went with a sectional. And it seems a little crazy to do a white sectional or off-white sectional, but this is actually a performance fabric, so you can spill anything on it, it wipes right off. And then we piped it in a soft blue to add a little detail to it, because it's a big piece of furniture. So that detail of the powder blue trim sort of begins to tie everything together in the entire space. The pillows on the sofa are interesting because I'm not sure that they necessarily work together, but they were fabrics that I fell in love with. So I forced them to be together, but this one has embroidery on it, and the color palette of each of them, I just fell in love with the fabric, so why not put them on here? And they work. This is a beautiful Samuel & Son trim that is an ombre, and it's just a subtle detail, and you see the color of the blue changes. How cute are these stools? And it's funny because right now they look like stools. You're having conversation, you have people over for cocktails, there's somewhere for everyone to sit. When my grandkids are here, these are thrown off onto the ground. This becomes a surface for, I don't know, a fire station, Legos, whatever's being built. But they're usually thrown all over the place. But they're very light, and I think that's really nice to have in a space where you need extra seating, and little stools we try to always incorporate them into a project because they help with space planning. It's funny, when I saw this house and the previous owners, the interiors were quite different. In Chicago, we live in a pre-war apartment, so there's a lot of architectural detail that's built into it. When it's new construction, it's hard to get that patina. And so my main inspiration was taking this new, well-built home and giving it a little bit of age, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of a hominess to it, a home feel to it. And so I think that I achieved that mainly by incorporating quite a few antiques into the house and warm color tones. Come on over here and I'll show you the dining room. The dining room was a really fun spot to design. I felt it was important to bring some antiques into this space because the height, there's everything about it just required uniqueness. And this was actually a wood ceiling. There wasn't wall covering. This was wood below. So I fell in love with this wallpaper and decided to pick up one of the colors in there and carry it throughout. We painted the shutters. This beautiful antique table I found in Lake Forest, Illinois. Found these antique chairs at the antique market at High Point Market, which happens every spring and fall, and I couldn't decide which dining fabric I liked best. So I used, I think, 4 different dining chair fabrics, and I used a gold gimp along here to help to tie it all together. But I still don't know which one I liked best. They all work. Found this Swedish grandfather clock in Libertyville, Illinois, at a place called Ashley and Sloan. And I had it brought here specifically for this space, and then when it got here, of course it didn't work. I don't even know if it still works, but it was all in different parts, and a man from Savannah had to come up. That was the only person I could find to put it back together, because inside there's all the weights and details And it just sort of came in all these different pieces, and I didn't know what to do with it. This, again, another antique piece. This antique bust is actually of a Southern woman. Found that at an antique fair, and I loved her. And I was with my husband, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's great. And I said, yeah, but it's quite expensive. And he was like, I don't think we can have a dining room if we don't have that. Like, she's perfect. And so we bought her and brought her home, and I absolutely love her. There's an amazing artist that I buy a lot of art from. She actually goes in and finds apartments, warehouses that have been closed down for years, and they're opened by whether, I don't know if it's their estate that wants to sell them, and she's finding these really unique pieces of art. And I put it on an easel, and it just makes it feel a little bit more special. Another antique chairs, believe it or not, this actually came with this fabric. Yeah, it's not in the best shape, but I absolutely love the fabric. I am a huge fan of blue and white and ginger jars, a huge fan. And I think these work perfectly in here. They're different sizes, but I did try, be careful. I did try and use, these are antique ginger jars, and I did fill this with water and put flowers in it one time, and I carried it from the laundry room, and there was just water everywhere. They don't always hold water, so put a glass inside of it before you put your water and flowers in there. I learned that lesson. This tray, this wicker tray, helps to just bring things down to a more comfortable level. I also think these gold drapery fabrics, the fabric is Michael Smith. It's a beautiful fabric. I think that too helps to, I wanted this to be a relaxed space, not necessarily pretty, but not necessarily formal. And the kids, we eat here, and we have New Year's Eve here. The kids decorate everything, and it's a fun, easy space to be in. It's not necessarily formal dining space, but it can be if we need it to be. The wallpaper I fell in love with. The wallpaper was the first thing that I found for this space, and I fell in love with it. It's a Lee Joffa wallpaper, and that is where we picked the paint color from for the ceiling and the wainscoting and the shutters. And the wallpaper incorporates this bit of blue and green, and then we pulled in the gold. To be fair, the gold is in there, the gold draperies are there because I just love the fabric. I absolutely love the fabric. So I forced it to work. The GIMP helped tie it all together. But the wallpaper, I think, is just, it adds, the vertical stripes add to the interest of the height of the ceiling. And then this Vaughn light fixture is really a statement piece. It's pretty on it. It's just so beautiful as its own, but within this space, it really fits nicely. When I walk around the house, I do think about what room is the room that I absolutely love. And I think that from a visual standpoint, from an interior design standpoint, the dining room's beautiful. I happen to love the primary bedroom. But I think the room that I actually love the most is the great room and kitchen, because when the kids are here, when our grandkids are here, it is just mass chaos. And that is the best feeling. That's the whole reason why we have the house here. And so I think for that reason, personally, that's why I love those spaces. If you'll follow me this way, we can take a look at the kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen. This is where everything happens, as in most homes, is in the kitchen. When we bought this house, all of the brick was more of a brown color. So we painted the brick behind us there. And it's funny, I know this sounds really strange, but the very first thing that I bought for this house, and I knew exactly where it was going, and it was sort of the jumping board for it, was this piece here. It's a woman bringing water, and back here they're gardening, and it's just, I just absolutely love it. And it's cricket. And it sets the tone, I think, for what I wanted the whole house to feel like. I know that Some people think it's strange to have artwork behind your cooking surface, but to be fair, it pops right off and it's pretty easy. Little bits of adding, antique cutting boards, an antique tea kettle, all of that helps newer spaces to have a little bit of age and a little bit of patina and a little bit more of a homey feeling, and that was what I was looking for. And then over in this space, this was just an area, and so we built a built-in seat there, and this became a little banquette seating area. These are great Hitchcock antique chairs that I bought online on auction, and I feel very fortunate to have found them. They're signed by Hitchcock. They were pretty popular chairs, and you can find them on all sorts of different antique auction sites now. But what was unique is finding two that were exactly the same. And this here is an antique dining table because I needed to find something that was narrow enough that it didn't impede the walking space here. And so this, with the scalloped edge detail, I fell in love with that. Again, the pillow situation. These are just fabrics I loved. I love all of these fabrics. There's cute little dogs on this cushion seat over here. And we brought in some antique artwork just because I loved it. This handsome man over here in this piece, right here with his blue eyes, I think he actually looks like my oldest son. But it's just something that's interesting. These are actually altar candles, things that people would carry up to altars from Spain. They're very old, and we had those mounted onto the wall. So there's a lot of antiques in this space here, probably because the kitchen felt the newest to me. We added a butcher block countertop here instead of a stone countertop, just because, again, to add that patina to it, we made the island a little bit creamier than the rest of the cabinets. And the interesting thing is wood countertop, like I'm constantly making sure there's not water on it, but it's sealed, so it's absolutely fine to use. But behind us over here, we have what's called a dirty kitchen, a scullery. It has all sorts of different names now. So if you come back here, you'll see this is sort of where the workhorse of the kitchen is. This is the refrigerator and the freezer and the pantry. We have a bar here that opens up into the sun porch. So that window opens, and this is the bar, so you can pass drinks throughout. A large pantry here. So everything is sort of hidden, which took me a minute to get used to because I'm used to working in just one big kitchen, but I actually like it now. I like that you can make a mess and sort of hidden back here. So this here is the china cabinet, and I love it. I love china. I love collecting all different types of china and transferware and hand-painted. This is Ginore from Italy. It's interesting to me, and when we travel, I'm always trying to find different. These glasses here actually came from Russia, and I have some glasses that came from Italy, so it's fun, and it's something that you never have to stop collecting. You know how sometimes it's like, oh, I've collected so much, or I'm done with that. No, you can collect dishes always, and you can always find somewhere to any little flea market or antique outlet, you can find something interesting. I did find, this is unique, I can't seem to find many of them, but it's almost like a lilac pearl or purple transferware, which I've been looking for more of those, but we'll see. Luckily, this house had a lot of storage for plates. Right here, I have been collecting all of this transferware for a while now. And so I didn't know what to do with it, so I hung them on the wall here, and I think it looks nice. Interior design has always been a passion, always. When I was little, I had a canopy bed in my bedroom. It was handed down from my two sisters, but it had a blue gingham check for the canopy and for the bedding. And I don't know why that just has stuck in my head. It was always, that's what the feeling that I gravitate towards. That to me is a feeling of warmth. You'll see a lot of gingham in this house here, a lot of checks, because I think that we lean towards spaces that resonate with us as warm feelings. And so I think that early, I noticed it, I felt it. And so interior design was just always something that was part of my life. I always enjoyed decorating. I used to be a home economics teacher, and I taught high school. And my degree is in secondary education with an emphasis in clothing construction and interior design. So obviously, I always knew I wanted to get into it, to gravitate from teaching into actual practice of interior design. It's a lot different teaching it than it is practicing it. But I think it was just something that always was part of my life and something I always enjoyed. If you'd come with me this way, we'll go see the entryway. So this is the entry, and it was important for me to incorporate a little bit about what is outside and what is ahead. Because when you walk into the entry, the first thing you look out and see is the lake and the greenery. And so I found this amazing T-bow wallpaper. It has the branches and the trees and the birds, and I just thought it was a nice nod to all of the greenery and the forest-like environment that is outside in Frederica in general. And we have a pecky wood ceiling up here. Pecky wood is indigenous to the Georgia southern area, and so I love that. I love the history behind it and how much it's used down here. Painted all of the trim in here, and I thought I did a good job, and then I didn't like it, and I couldn't live with it. So I found another color, and I said to the contractor, can you please repaint everything? He said, repaint all of this? I said, yeah, I'm not happy with the color. I'm so sorry, it's my fault. And so he painted it all, and I had given him the color. I came back in town and I walked in, it was late at night. I couldn't sleep all night. First thing in the morning, I'm like, I'm so sorry, I hate it, it's terrible. Can we repaint it again? He thinks I'm crazy, but I finally think we nailed the color. It happens, right? You have to paint samples, and you can't just pick from a color swatch. And I was my worst client myself, but 3 times the charm, and I think it turned out nice this time. So this rug was such a good find. I actually found it at a local store here in town in St. Simons, and they were very nice. They brought it over. They brought a couple of them over to let me look at. But the colors in here just tie everything together. And usually I'm not a matchy-matchy type of person, but this one was so perfect I couldn't pass it up. This antique chest over here was actually in our home in Arizona, and it transitioned so nicely over to this space. Beautiful antique mirror here, which sort of reflects and opens up the space a bit, which you'll notice interior designers use mirrors quite a bit, just because it's like adding another window to the space, which is fun. You'll notice some artwork here. There's an artist, I have quite a bit of it throughout the house. Her name is Francine Turk. She is from Chicago, but her artwork varies quite differently. It depends where she's painting at, what year it is, what mood she's in. I happen to love her artwork. This here is a piece she did. She did it on a piece of, I think it's a piece of stationery when she was in France. This is what she's sort of known for, are her nudes. Those are 3 of her pieces there. It's beautiful. In here is the powder room, and if you take a look at it, it's sort of unique. We were able to use a wallpaper that I am obsessed with, always have been, by Lee Joffa, and found a beautiful antique mirror, some intaglios that I bought at an antique market in Paris, and then we had a new vanity made with some scallop detail. I do have a go-to tip that we always talk about this with our clients. And it's not anything specific, it's just, if you love something, use it. We will make it work. It will work somehow. It's more important that you love something that's in your house and enjoy it than it is to do what's considered right in the interior design world. So it's your home, it's where you live. If you love something so much and it just doesn't feel right, whatever, you can work around it and make sure that it's there and enjoyed in your space. Follow me this way, we'll go into the primary bedroom. The primary bedroom, it has a lot of color and a lot of interest, and it just makes me happy. And my husband's not opposed to pink, luckily, but again, the gingham, which just brings me happiness, it brings that sense of warmth, and I love it. It's very classic. Used it on the draperies. This was a piece that I had reupholstered. We actually designed this piece for a show house. It looked completely different, had it reupholstered with a gathered skirt. I think sometimes we forget that, myself included, that you can reupholster things and bring a whole new life to it. When we used it before in the show house, in Lake Forest, it had a very modern, clean line to it with lucite legs, and now it just fits perfectly into here. I love tying in fabric lampshades instead of just paper lampshades, just another dimension. This fabric was the sounding block for the entire room because I fell in love with this fabric and I needed to have it in here, and so we built everything around this fabric. Great Tebow wallpaper, vines and the florals, it just brings happiness. And over here, we have a mirror, an antique mirror that reflects the outside, so because the view is just beautiful from here, within some intaglios on the wall and some upholstered chairs. I do love this bed. I love that it can be reupholstered. We did a gingham on it this time. I had it reupholstered in a velvet before, but I absolutely love it. It's a hickory chair bed. It's called the left bank bed from Hickory Chair, and all the details of it. It actually comes, if you prefer, shorter columns, but all of the details of it just make me so happy. I love this bed. This rug is by Stark, and Stark makes beautiful rugs, but this rug is primarily blue, which balances a little bit of the pink, so it's not so pink. We pulled some bedding that had blue in it as well, and to help tie it all together. But this rug is just fantastic. It's 100% wool. It just has a nice warm feel to it, and interest. I think that it's a cut and bound piece. So if you have a big space and you don't necessarily want to purchase a hand knotted rug, you can buy a beautiful piece of carpet and bind the edges. And today, so many carpets they used to just be beige or plain, but there's so many beautiful details that you can find in actually rolled good carpets today. An office that my husband uses. Looks like he cleaned it up. But this, if you come on in here, it's a small office, but it's a great view, and it's just what he needs when he's working from home. If you follow me, we'll go take a look at the sun porch. Welcome to the sun porch. This is the area that we live in when it's beautiful out. It's a nice big open space, and one of the real reasons we bought the house. It has a beautiful sitting area and fireplace, and as you can see, you get to see the lake out there. We chose to do 2 dining tables here just because if we're having a smaller group, it's nice, you're not sitting at a giant table. But we can actually pull them together and when everyone is here and have a nice big space. Out here, the view is just, and the breeze that you get from it is so nice. People sit out here all the time. Kids take naps out here if they want to get a little rest. It's just a beautiful space to hang out. We barbecue, we grill, we just hang out in here. We do have, every day about 3 o'clock, a giant, big, huge alligator comes, and he lays right there on the bank, and he just minds his own business. I can take a photo of him from here, from inside the sun porch. I get outside, I get about to the end of the pool, and he scurries into the water. He's afraid. But I really wanted to remove that fence because I don't like it. And so I'm like, the fence has to go. I can't look at the fence. I don't like the fence. And then they said, well, the alligator would probably come up and get closer to the house and maybe even slither into the pool. If you want to get the alligator out of your pool, go ahead. I was like, yeah, no, fence is good. We're keeping the fence. But I've sort of grown to like him. I don't want to go near him, but he minds his own business. But every day about 3 o'clock, unless he's busy. Some days he doesn't come, but most of the time he comes. We made this room feel like a living room. This is actually indoor-outdoor furniture, indoor-outdoor fabric. It stays outside 365 days a year, but it looks like inside furniture. It's comfortable, it's easy, swivel chairs, comfortable again with the stools to bring extra seating about. In fact, when we first moved into the house, all the furniture wasn't in yet, but this furniture was here. And our kids were coming down for a visit, and I wanted them to be comfortable. So we had this in the living room. It actually looked nice. It was fine. It fit the bill. But we have a beautiful fireplace, and this space, this is one of the selling points of the house, this big, beautiful sun porch. And it's nice because a lot of homes in the South have the sun porch right off the back of the house, and so our view wasn't impeded at all by having the sun porch over here, which I like. It's off to the side, which is sort of nice. And it's nice to have this dock here. I don't know if you can see, but we have a dock over there on the other side of the fence. And so we're not exactly a family of fishermen, but we've become that. The grandkids like to come and they fish off the dock, and they've all caught fish before, and it's catch and release, so they catch them and throw them back in there. But it's a fun activity. It's really fun to go down there and do a little fishing. Let's take a look outside at the pool area here. It's nice to enjoy some sunshine out here. All the greenery is what really drew us to this area. When we spent time in Arizona, there's not a lot of greenery, so all of this grass is something we really, really enjoy. So this lake here is, there's actually a boathouse at the clubhouse, and you can take a boat out at any time or have somebody drive you around. You can't go fast. They're just slow moving the boats, but it's nice to take a ride around the lake and see. And there's the pier that I talked about that they like to fish off of, which is really fun to have. It's new. It's something new and different for us. This is one of the guest bedrooms, and we tried to make it as comfortable for people to come and enjoy. There's a reading nook, comfortable bed and linens, and it's a happy space with a beautiful view of the outside lake. I love the wall covering in this space. It's just happy. And I found these great antique lamps that work perfectly in here, which is it just adds that little bit of detail to the space. We overlaid a hand-knotted rug onto a piece of rolled carpet just to add some color and interest to the space. You notice this space has a lot of different patterns in it, and they're all floral, so they all relate, and of course a little bit of plaid never hurts anything. But as long as your color palettes stay within the same tone, I think that you're okay. I think you'll always be okay mixing and matching patterns. If you come upstairs, I'll show you some more guest bedrooms up here. And we also have a really fun room that I can show you. We're upstairs here on the landing, and this was a big, long, white space of drywall, and it's hard to find artwork that works with it. So this is a photograph. It's a triptych, one photograph, 3 pieces put together that eat up the entire space, which is really nice and colorful. The green is so nice. This is another one of my favorite guest bedrooms, I think because of the gingham and the plaid. The color palette is primarily green with a little bit of added yellow. Again, we overlaid a rug on top of a rolled piece of carpet. Found these great antique shelves that worked perfectly in here as nightstands. And then who doesn't love a little trim on a window treatment with pom-poms? Just that little bit that adds a huge touch. The beauty of doing your own home versus doing work for clients, it's also the beauty of it, and also the most difficult part is that I could pick everything that I just loved. Everything that I loved, that made me happy. No rhyme or reason, I just loved it. The hard part was there was no one to ask, do you like this? Which one do you prefer? I was asking myself those questions, and it's hard to do. And I think any interior designer will tell you the most difficult project is doing your own project. This room was big enough that we were able to accommodate 2 queen-size beds, which is really nice when a bunch of kids are here. We have a fun game area here. There's plenty of space for everybody to spread out. And I love this wall covering. It just reminds me of Georgia. And of course, a little nod to the gingham. If you follow me this way, this is a fun space. It looks like a bookshelf, which it is actually a bookshelf. But when you come in here, this is a space that the grandkids absolutely love. Welcome to the bunk room. There's a bed for each of them. My granddaughters can do their gymnastics here. They have dance parties. The grandsons wrestle here and have all sorts of fun. Back behind those doors is a toy chest area where they have all sorts of toys in there. But each of them, it was difficult because this was just a attic, nothing space before. And it was hard because we looked at all different ways to create bunk beds. But with the slope of the ceiling, the only way we could do it was to have them running vertically instead of horizontally. But I think it works out great because each one has their own little nook, their own little cubby, and their light. They can keep their books in there, their stuffed animals in there. They can close these drapes for privacy if one of them wants to sleep longer than the other. And it was also, because I have grandsons and granddaughters, it needed to have a neutral palette to it. And I think the blue and red is really fun. It's really fun. I feel so fortunate to find this carpeting because it's unusual, the colors in here, and then to find a carpet that picked up on it that is durable, that the kids can do anything they want up here. It's 100% wool carpet, so it will clean very easily. And then each of them have their own beanbag chair with their name on it, and they have a lot of fun up here. What does home mean to me? Home means to me family. Home has always meant family to me. It's a feeling of warmth that you can't get anywhere else. It's a place of comfort where you can relax, where for me it's my family can come over anytime and they feel comfortable. They feel that it's their home as well because it's a home that they were raised in this environment. So to me, home is family, and home is being together and having a space where you can invite people in and they walk in and they just feel comfortable. They can sit anywhere, they can put their feet up on anything. Doesn't matter if paint gets spilled on the kitchen table, doesn't matter. Thanks so much, Homeworthy, for stopping by my home here in St. Simons Island. I have to run now. I think I'll go check if the alligator's out visiting. See you soon.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.